Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So the internet is a very strange place and I feel like you can see people and you don't really know exactly who they are. So I wanted to change that. I wanted you guys to feel like you at least know a bit of me, like you've scratched the surface. So I googled get to know me questions and we're gonna go through some today. What was the best vacation you ever took and why? So this one, not meaning to brag in any way, shape or form, my school when I was 17 required us to do work experience and I wanted to be a paramedic at this time. So it was very hard in the UK to actually get work experience as someone who was under 18 and who wanted to actually have hands-on experience. Usually it would just have to be an admin job where you'd be in the office. I really wanted to get hands-on in the midst of everything. So my parents were incredibly generous and they paid for me to go to the Dominican Republic, and it was through a company called Gap Medics. We went out there were a group of teenagers, we all stayed in this house, and for 1 week I shadowed nurses and for 1 week I shadowed midwives in hospitals out there, and it was honestly the most incredible trip I have ever had. I was also there for Hurricane Irma, which was slightly scary. I definitely made my parents and my sister panic, so yeah, sorry about that. I got to watch surgeries, I watched natural births, I watched C-sections. It was just incredible. What's your favourite way to spend your day off? Making videos. I never thought I would love it. It's so much fun. I really enjoy the planning, the coming up with ideas, the editing, but I do also really enjoy things such as the gym, which is very important seeing as I'm training to be a personal trainer, and also sewing. I love sewing, I love music. I've got a harp just sitting in my corner that I've neglected for too many years. I really ought to get it out again because I feel really sorry for it and it doesn't deserve the treatment I'm giving it. I really love baking and cooking, so I'm very crafty, I would say. I like doing hands-on things. Where's the next place on your travel bucket list and why? I would probably say Amsterdam, as I was meant to go to Amsterdam in February with some friends and my partner, and of course it got cancelled because of lockdown. So I really hope we can go back, I really hope we can book it again soon. I'm just itching to go there. I would love to see the city, it looks so beautiful, and there's so many things I want to do when I'm there as well. So that's probably next on my bucket list, but I have so many places I want to visit. Would you say you're more of an introvert or an extrovert? Now this I find quite a challenging question. I'm definitely not an introvert, but there are days when I just really don't want to talk to people and I just want to shut myself off and do my own thing for the day. I think it's because I work in a very customer facing job, and I deal with a lot of patients that get very angry at me and aggressive, so sometimes I just don't want to talk to people at all. It kind of makes me just want to shut down for the day. So in that sense I'm not an extrovert, but I'm probably leaning more to an extrovert scale, but I'm definitely not 100% extrovert. What's one thing that can instantly make your day better? Friends. Whenever I'm low or sad or struggling in some way, shape or form, if I put an episode of Friends on, my mood is just instantly lifted. If you've never seen Friends, just give it a go, because I was always really skeptical of Friends and then one of my friends forced me to watch it and I'm so glad she did because it's changed my life, honestly. It makes me so happy to watch it and to tune in and to know that I have a safe place that I can go and just chill. So Netflix, please never delete it because I don't know what I'll do. Do you have any pet peeves? Yes. One of my biggest pet peeves is people who sit in the car park with their engine on for obscene lengths of time, or just sitting in their car, not driving anywhere, they're scrolling on their phone and they have their engine running. It drives me mad. Why are you killing the earth like that? Why are you wasting your fuel? We're in the middle of the fuel crisis. Everyone is panic buying. I spent half an hour queuing up by hand with a little carton of 5 litres because that's the biggest container I had for fuel, because my car is on the fuel light and if I queued up for that long I would run out of fuel. So I had no choice but to walk to the petrol station and stand in a queue. But I'm hoping I have enough fuel to now actually drive to a petrol station and stay in a queue. Please stop panic buying fuel. But that's my biggest pet peeve. don't waste fuel. I remember my partner and I were sitting in the car chatting for probably like an hour, and the guy next to us had had his engine on the whole time, not driving anywhere. I don't understand it. Why would you do that? Ideally, how would you spend your birthday? So my birthday is 3 days after Christmas, and the way we normally spend it, which I love doing, is all my family will come round, and we'll kind of have a second Christmas. So we exchange all the presents, we have a nice meal together, we pull crackers. It's basically like a second Christmas, and I love that because it brings the family together. I get to see everyone again, and also the day isn't all about me, which I think would make me feel a bit uncomfortable. What's your favourite season and why? Again, it would probably be Christmas season because I do have my birthday and you have New Year's and you have Christmas, but I do also love the cross of Halloween as well. I just love all those festivities. Whenever we're in autumn, winter, I get really excited and really cosy and comfy because I just love the idea of watching horror movies, watching kids' Halloween movies like Hocus Pocus, Christmas movies, and planning on presents and what presents you're going to buy, going to Christmas markets. I love that side of the year. So towards the end of the year, not necessarily a season. What's your favourite family tradition? So back onto the Christmas topic. We as a family will sit on my parents' bed and we will open our stockings in the morning, and I love that. I just have such a happy feeling when I think of that. And we used to help my grandma up the stairs and to jump on the bed, and we'd all open our presents together. It's definitely harder to think about that now that my grandma's gone, but I suppose the nice thing is that my dad used to ring the church bells in Westminster Abbey at Christmas, so he was never there on Christmas morning. Now that he doesn't do that as often, we get to spend that time with him, so he's been roped into the tradition now. He never used to do it because every year he'd ring the bells, so now he gets to spend that tradition with us. What do you admire most in the world? Probably nature. I love going out into the forest and walking in the forest. I find it so relaxing and calming. So anything where I'm outdoors I really love. Being on the beach I really love. I love travelling and all the different environments and places I can see. So that's something I really admire about the world. The world is just such an amazing place, and I honestly can't tell you how much I want to see the world. I think it's one of my main passions, and I just can't imagine leaving this world and not getting to see everything. So it's kind of like my midlife crisis, is that I need to travel and see the world, otherwise I'm going to be miserable. How has your perspective on the world changed over time? Ooh, that's a good question. I suppose the one I've noticed most recently, it's been a case of before the global crisis happened, I was someone who would always focus on other people and making other people happy, and I think it got to the point where I would never think about myself and what would make me happy. And I would, if someone wanted to do something that I really didn't want to do, I would still do it, even though it would be the worst thing that I could think of doing, because I wanted to make them happy. And there is definitely a limit. Like, you should do that some of the time, you should do things to try and make other people happy, but you shouldn't do that at a detriment to yourself. So I think that's what I've mainly learned. I've learned to put myself first and really think about what I want and try and aspire to reach the things that I want, because there's no point going through this world if you're going to be unhappy. Do you live by any piece of advice or motto? One saying I often remind myself is that money always comes back to you, but time and experience doesn't. And I try and tell myself that if I'm spending something really expensive, like on a holiday or a trip away, or an activity, I try and remind myself that money will always come back to me. I'll always, hopefully, fingers crossed, have a job that will bring money in, so that will always come back to me, but the time that is passing I will never get back. So I always try and remind myself that if I want to do something crazy that might be really expensive, then I try and remind myself that it will be worth it in the long run. There was another quote I saw recently which I really like, and it's I'll toughen up before I tap out. I have no idea who said it, but I really like the quote. It just makes me feel really motivated not to give up and to keep pushing for my goals. So yeah, I probably live by those the majority of the time at the moment. Are you an organ donor, and how did you make that decision? Yes, I am an organ donor. I highly recommend it if you're thinking of doing it just to do it. I think the decision was always made for me. I never doubted whether I wanted to donate my organs or not. I just think that if I can give back to the world in some way, even when I'm dead, I think it would just be an amazing honour. I don't need my body anymore when I'm dead. I know that in certain religions it's not something that they can feasibly do, but for me, I don't have anything that is stopping me. So of course I'm going to do it, and it's something that I really love, the idea that I can help people even when I've passed away. What's on your bucket list? So many things. Not gonna lie, most of it's travelling. Like things I want to see the Great Barrier Reef, I want to go to Bali, I want to see Indonesia, I'd love to go to Japan. There is just so many places. I want to see as many of the cultures I can. It's just something that really is so special to me. But I've started to have more interest. Like I'd love to do one of those like race car experiences, you know, when you're in a really fast car and someone's driving you around a track. I'd love to go scuba diving. There's just so many things that I want to do before I kick the bucket. So yeah, I have a very long list. I'm hoping I can take you on the journey of ticking off everything one by one. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? Now this one is very easy for me. I may not want to live there permanently forever the rest of my life, but my partner and I did, just before everything blew up and the whole situation happened, my partner and I did move to the UAE, and we worked out there for a couple of months, and I just loved the country so much. It was such an amazing experience. I met lovely people out there. I loved just the vibe of the country. Like it has a feeling, and I can feel that feeling every time I think about it, but it's just so relaxed out there. Everyone's so nice. Everything is so beautiful. Like the architecture in that country is incredible, and I just love that, you know, at certain times throughout the day that you just hear the prayer time echoing through the sky. Like it is just an incredible place to be, and it's so nice to immerse yourself in different culture as well. I feel like you get such a better understanding of different people, and I love that country, and I would love to go out there and be able to spend more time there. And just to really experience living in that country. My partner was lucky enough to spend 6 months out there the year before, and we had a long distance relationship, and I visited for a couple of weeks, but I feel like I've kind of missed out, and I want a bit more. I want to go out there and stay a bit longer. Which famous person in history would you want to spend the day with? Now people might find a bit boring, but it would be Jane Austen. I really love Jane Austen. I love the Georgian era. I love visiting Bath because it's so Georgian-y, and Jane Austen is everywhere. So I'd love to just sit down, have a cup of tea with her, have some cake, and just discuss and ask her questions about what it's like to live in Georgian times and all the things you do. I just think it's such a fascinating era, and everyone was, you know, the things you did back then was so different, like brushing your teeth with sticks and chalk. Like it's so strange, and I would love to know more about it. At a party, where can someone find you? So when I was younger, and you know, you'd have the house parties, I definitely would have been in the loo helping someone be sick. I think I was there probably 90% of the time whenever I went to a party. I never really drank because I never wanted to ask my parents to buy me alcohol, so I was never the drunk one, but I'd always be the one that was looking out for other people. But I think now my ideal like party situation would be probably dancing around, chatting with friends, but ultimately then going home, watching a movie with everyone, having some snacks, having some drinks, being cozy on the sofa. I think I've got old. That's probably where I'd actually be at the party. I'd be there for a bit, and then I'd be ready to go home. What was the first thing you wanted to be when you grew up? So I would probably say the main focus I had when growing up would have been the paramedic. That was my most solid goal I had, the most realistic goal, because I remember when I was at primary school I wrote on some piece of paper that I wanted to be a hairdresser. Now I don't think I'd be very good at being a hairdresser. I'd get too nervous of cutting other people's hair, but I always wanted to be something very caring, so I've dabbled in loads of things. Like I was a district carer when I first left school, which was so rewarding. However, you know, sadly care is it really neglects its staff, so I couldn't stay in that long term. And now I'm working in the NHS, which I love. I'm so proud to say that I work in the NHS. So yeah, I think I've always wanted to do something very caring, which I think is also why I love the idea of doing personal training as well as my NHS job, because I can help people be healthier. Like, I see every day how people's health is impacted by their lifestyle, by situations, and I'd love to know that I might be able to help them improve their quality of life. So yeah, that's where my head's at. I think I've just always wanted to have some kind of care related job, something which will help people in the future. I'm really hoping I can do that through YouTube and through my normal job that I'm doing now. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video. I hope you know me a little bit better now. I'm really looking forward to now uploading those fitness videos and the nutrition side and all the lifestyle videos. My head is bursting with ideas, so I cannot wait to get them down on, you can't say get down on paper, get down on video, get down on SD cards, something. But thank you so much. If you did enjoy today's video, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!